You know him. He has been a favorite maniac for the Richard Fowler Show. It's Mr. Rush Limbaugh, and he is at it again. And here is what he has had to say today that made him a political maniac nominee. Rush Limbaugh is reportedly upset with executives at his flagship station, WABC, and its parent company, Cumulus. He's so mad, in fact, that he's reportedly threatening to leave the company. Why? Because Lew Dickey, Cumulus's CEO, is probably correctly blaming Limbaugh's slut comments last year for the declining ad revenue at the company. Several major advertisers have dropped support for Limbaugh after the incident, but Limbaugh and a source who spoke with the Daily News said the show's earnings were very minimally impacted in the short term. However, Political notes that Dickey, on an August 2012's earnings call, said Cumulus's top 3 stations lost $5.5 million. Some of those losses were directly because of boycotts against Rush Limbaugh. In March of 2013, on another earnings call, Dickey said the company was still suffering because of these comments, blaming them for roughly a third of the company's revenue losses. He said there's been a residual hangover in terms of advertisers sitting out. Clearly, it's had an impact. That's something we're dealing with on an ongoing basis. Another source spoke to Politico, saying it's a very serious discussion because Dickey keeps blaming Rush for his own revenue problems. Dickey's talk stations underperform talk stations owned by other operators in generating revenue by a substantial margin. It's not just a single show issue, it's a failure of the entire station. And trying to blame Rush is not much of a business partnership. Of course, that was someone's in Rush's camp. So would the top-rated radio show host in the country actually leave the stations that broadcast him in his largest markets? Perhaps. But less Rush may be a good thing, although that seems very unlikely to happen. Richard, your thoughts. Is Rush overreacting? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think Rush is going to leave his top markets. I think that's the dumbest thing business decision you could ever make. I'm going to leave my top markets because they're mad that I'm not bringing in the revenue I need to bring in. I still don't think that, WABC is going to get rid of Rush.
There's no way they're ever going to drop Rush. I mean, Rush, despite the fact that he's a maniac, he is entertaining. A lot of people listen to his programs, and he's the biggest name in radio right now.
Well, that's the point, and I think that's why he's definitely not going to go anywhere. I think he's just talking out of his ass. That's what he does a lot.
Yeah, I'll give you that, but the most compelling thing here, and what the real point of contention is whether Rush's slut comments last year, I'm sure you remember the story, Richard, whether they made an impact on the ad revenue or not. I tend to think that they did make a huge impact. Advertisers don't want to be involved with someone who's going to say such. I mean, and Rush gets away with a lot with his advertisers, but I think last year he did cross the line.
I agree there. I think he did cross the line last year with the Sandra Fluke thing. But whether or not, I think that I think some companies left him, but I'm pretty sure he gained others because of it.
NRA.
I think I personally
just throwing it out there.
I think Rush is going to be fine for quite a bit of time, and as long as the Democrat continues to stay in office, I think he'll be even better. And folks who don't know that, people don't understand that when the radio industry that we're in, when Democrats are in office, progressive radio does worse. When Democrats are in office, conservative radio does better. When conservatives are in office, progressive radio does better. And so I think, as long as we continue to elect Democrats, Rush Limbaugh will forever be around.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I'm with you on that one, Richard. I see that completely. It seems like there's no amount. There's never going to be something that Rush can say that's crazy enough for him to lose his core audience.
Yeah, that's about right. Because his core audience is just as crazy as him.